Imagine this, an entire Roman legion, thousands of men, battle-hardened soldiers of the world's greatest empire, vanishing. No trace, no survivors, no records that tell the full story. The disappearance of the Ninth Legion Hispana has baffled historians for centuries. Did they die fighting in the misty lands of Britain? Were they quietly destroyed in the deserts of the East? Or did Rome itself try to erase their memory? Tonight, we'll step into one of history's most haunting mysteries, the fate of Rome's vanished Ninth Legion. Stay with me until the end, because the truth might be darker, stranger, and more unsettling than you could ever imagine. The Roman Ninth Legion, known as Legio IX Hispana, had a long and decorated history. Born in Spain, hardened in countless campaigns, they became one of the empire's most formidable fighting forces. They marched under the eagle standard, Rome's sacred symbol of power, through bloody wars and brutal conquests. From the fields of Hispania to the rebellions of Gaul, the Ninth carved their reputation in steel and blood. By the time Emperor Claudius set his sights on Britain in 43 CE, the Ninth was chosen to play a starring role, and for good reason. Britain was Rome's wild frontier, a land of fierce tribes, endless forests, and a people who would never submit easily. The Ninth was there on the front lines, spearheading Rome's expansion into this cold, alien island. They built forts, they suppressed uprisings, they fought against warriors who painted themselves blue with woad, and charged into battle with terrifying screams. But Britain was no ordinary conquest, and soon the Ninth would pay a heavy price. In 60 or 61 CE, fire and rebellion erupted across Britain. Queen Boudica, the Iceni tribe, rose in defiance, leading a revolt that nearly shattered Roman rule. When word of the rebellion reached the Ninth, they marched to meet the threat, confident, disciplined, unstoppable, or so they thought. What happened next was catastrophic. Somewhere along the road to Camulodunum, modern-day Colchester, the Ninth was ambushed. Tribal warriors swarmed from the forests, overwhelming the legion in a brutal, bloody massacre. Contemporary accounts tell us that nearly the entire Ninth Legion was wiped out that day. Only a handful survived, fleeing for their lives. Rome would later crush Boudica's revolt with overwhelming force, but the Ninth's reputation had been scarred forever. And yet, despite this disaster, the Ninth Legion wasn't destroyed. Not yet. They were rebuilt, reinforced, and continued to serve in Britain for decades. Inscriptions, tombstones, and records all confirm their presence long after Boudica's revolt. Which brings us to the heart of the mystery. What happened after? The Ninth Legion seems to vanish from the historical record in the early 2nd century. One moment they are stationed in Eboracum, modern-day York, defending Rome's northern frontier. And then, silence. No clear orders, no records of transfer, no glorious final battle described by Roman historians. Nothing. It's as if the Ninth Legion, thousands of men, their officers, their standard, simply melted into the mist. For centuries, this silence has haunted scholars. How could such a powerful and prestigious unit disappear without a trace? Over time, 3 dominant theories have emerged. Each is compelling, and each is troubling. Theory 1: annihilation in Britain. Some historians argue the Ninth marched north to confront the fierce Caledonian tribes, ancestors of the Scots. There, beyond Hadrian's Wall, they may have been ambushed and slaughtered. Evidence? Roman Britain is littered with fragments, ruins of forts suddenly abandoned, stone inscriptions that end abruptly, and stories of legions crushed in the wild north. But if the Ninth was wiped out in Britain, why didn't Roman writers mention such a colossal disaster? Rome usually recorded defeats, even shameful ones. Could this silence mean something more deliberate? Theory 2: transfer and destruction abroad. Another possibility, the Ninth was redeployed, perhaps to the eastern frontier. Rome constantly shifted its legions to fight in hotspots like Parthia or Armenia. Some fragments of evidence suggest the Ninth was seen in the Rhine or in the east after leaving Britain. If that's true, they may have perished far from home, swallowed in the deserts of the Middle East. But again, if that's the case, why do the records grow so eerily silent? Theory 3. Erased from memory. This is the most chilling theory. What if the Ninth didn't just disappear? What if Rome deliberately erased them? The Romans were ruthless when it came to dishonor. If a legion mutinied, deserted, or suffered an unbearable disgrace, their name could be struck from the rolls, their memory erased, a punishment worse than death. Could it be that the Ninth committed some unforgivable act? Did they rebel against their emperor? Did they betray Rome in some way? We may never know. What we do know is this: by the reign of Emperor Hadrian, the Ninth Legion is gone. And soon after, Rome begins construction of Hadrian's Wall, a massive stone barrier stretching across northern Britain, marking the edge of empire. Was this wall a desperate attempt to contain the same tribes who may have destroyed the Ninth? Or was it simply strategic planning? Either way, the timing is unsettling. A legion disappears, and then Rome builds one of its most famous defenses. Coincidence? Or cause and effect? The fate of the Ninth Legion remains one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. No battlefield has been found, no mass grave unearthed, no definitive inscription has closed the case. Instead, we are left with fragments, clues scattered across the centuries. A broken tombstone in York, a faded inscription in the Netherlands, hints of a ghost army that may have marched into oblivion. What is certain is this: the story of the Ninth Legion reminds us that even the mightiest empire on earth could lose entire legions to the shadows of history. The Roman Ninth Legion may be gone, but their mystery endures. Were they wiped out by painted warriors in the misty highlands of Scotland? Were they swallowed in the deserts of the East? Or were they erased, condemned to eternal silence, by the very empire they served? Perhaps one day, an archaeologist's Spain will uncover the truth. Until then, the ghost of the Ninth Legion will haunt the corridors of history. If you enjoyed this journey into one of Rome's darkest mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to Secrets of History. And when you're ready for another jaw-dropping tale, click on the video beside me to discover the shortest war in history, a conflict that lasted just 38 minutes. History is full of secrets, and together, we'll uncover them all.